Can I show you can I, at the very least, audience, can I show you a thumbnail I feel enticing? One that feels like it wants to draw me in. It's almost like a dare. Because I think we might have found somebody that is the perfect woman for one of our regulars. This is at the Association of Mature American Conservatives, AMAC, 10 million votes that shouldn't have been counted with Marley Hornick, proof of election fraud. Both of these women look like they would be on trial after a series of murders at a truck stop. I would send her down there, and then she would lure them into the pickup truck, and she would offer them, you know, a drink or two with the promise of some sexual relations afterwards. And then when they would pass out, we'd wake up, wake them up later, and they'd be tied to a table with a potato peeler in their rectum. Especially, let's just say you're going through pictures of yourself, and you're like, that one. I'm just going to say I think she looks all pretty. She looked like one of them Apple people when they make at the fair. The blonde woman I ain't too crazy about, but the lady next to her or whatever, I like how she looked just kind of crazy. You know what I mean? Like that kind of, hi, I'm Ficus. Welcome. Good to see you. There's a very strong chance I am either married to or related to one of these ladies, and we will find out in just a moment. Now, I have no idea what the content of this one is, but
we identified inside of the state's official records about the 2022 and 2020 elections, millions and millions of examples of what appear to be felony misconduct.
Yes, millions of examples of what appears to be. I think that's probably where we're going to run aground.
According to the United States Department of Justice's guidelines for prosecution of election offenses, what we've discovered is 29 million facially
United Sovereign Americans for Freedom. So, sovereign citizens who give a fuck about voting? Weird.
invalid registration records. These states had counted 2 million more votes than they have any record of voters having voted or participated. What we've done is...
Oh, she's talking about the votes that Trump bought while he was in office to try and guarantee that he would have 2 million more votes than he had the first time. Because remember that guy said, if you have this many votes, you can't lose. And then I got my ass kicked. Yeah, that part, okay, that's because he arranged for voter fraud in a bunch of states, and he figured if we get caught, we'll just claim that the fake votes went to Biden.
Is file lawsuits in 9 states. We filed federal lawsuits against the chief election official and the attorney general of each state, and
Texas and Florida?
Additionally, the attorney general of the United States.
Is it weird that, a couple of them are swing states, but the rest of them seem to be like red states where there's a lot of this voter fraud that you found? Especially ones that it looked like Trump might lose last time, and that there seemed to be a lot of
America Ireland, because our concern is that they are not operating elections in a way that upholds the fundamental right of American citizens to choose representatives.
Right. Well, that's because Trump was in power and he was buying votes in all those red states, and after that, of course, the secretaries of states in a few of these red states were protecting the Republicans that were in office, that got into office in 2020 or in 2016, to make sure they stayed in office, even if the voters were turning against them by jerry-rigging the vote as well.
Representatives.
BF, Better for America? Oh, BFA. I see. So that's an A. I thought they were BFing America.
Hello, everyone. I'm
Hi.
Rebecca Weber.
Hello, Rebecca Weber. My God. Here she is, this AMAC Better for America podcast. Okay.
You're watching Better for America.
By the way, is this the lady in the fucking picture at the beginning? I think it is. What? Is that a high school picture they were using that they also airbrushed?
I am so thrilled to be back with you. There really is nothing that brings me more joy than to be with all of you, and that...
Yes, and have that like weird Oingo Boingo theme music playing kind of arguably a little too loud.
That is why I'm thrilled to announce our next guest.
Yes, I'm thrilled you're going to have her on here. I'm not going to watch most of it, but I figure we'll jump into the beginning of it because it's way too long.
On top of the mind for so many patriots, including AMAC members, is the upcoming presidential election. And there are so many valid concerns around irregularity.
Wait, Better for America podcast. BFAP? Really? Really?
How concerned should we be that the 2024 election will be free and fair?
Well, I mean, I guess if you're going to run on the idea that while Trump was president, he still lost by almost, by over 8 million votes, and you think it was stolen, it could be stolen from him while he was president of the United States, literally the leader of the free world, and he was incapable of driving back the cheating that you allege, what fucking shot does he have now that he's out of power? Right? I mean, I don't think there was any cheating at all, but I mean, if you're going to make that case, it doesn't work very well. Like I'm just going to say this: the deck is stacked against him. Is all I'm going to say.
Especially when we really did watch massive, blatant violations of election law. We saw that happen in 2020.
No, you didn't.
In 2022.
No, you didn't.
Now joining me to discuss election integrity and enhancing transparency in 2024 is Marley Hornick. Marley is the executive director of New York Citizens Audit, which is a nonpartisan, nonprofit organization.
Right.
Dedicated to election integrity.
That's right. She's not picking sides, people, okay? As far as she's concerned, leadership of the country is a coin flip, and she's just there to judge whether it lands on its side.
And she is also the CEO of United Sovereign Americans. Marley is a public...
So what you're saying is if she gets pulled over by a police officer, it'll be the worst stop of his fucking day, and he's lucky if she doesn't shoot him?
Published writer. She's appeared in Town Hall, Blaze Media, American Thinker, just to name a few.
Yes, and all of them, on the margins... maybe, a little right-leaning, okay? I'll give you that. But she's very nonpartisan.
Marley, welcome to Better for America. I'm real happy to have you with me today.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. It's really a pleasure to be here and have the opportunity to share some of our work with your viewers.
It is so important, the work that you're doing, and I want to start with really how you began. You were here, I'm in New York. You had local New York beginnings. The New York Citizens Audit really revealed extensive irregularities in voter registration.
Irregularities? You mean during 2020 when everybody was voting from home?
Across the state. Tell us what led you to start this initiative and maybe how your personal background inspired you really to commit to investigating election integrity.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, what inspired me to do all of this was my prayers.
Ah, yes. Her bipartisan, nonpartisan prayers.
And my feeling that if no one in America stepped up to do this work, it might not get done.
Probably
and
not.
For me personally,
Yeah.
and I know for all of the thousands of volunteers.
Yes, if the Lord doesn't if we don't call upon the Lord, tuberculosis will take me.
That we have now in New York and tens of thousands across America, that would be unacceptable. It would be unacceptable to not solve the problem of our election misconduct.
Yeah, and so you, just for the record, you don't think prayer is going to do it? You think God does not have the ability to remedy this, to change hearts in a way that will keep them from... I'm just clarifying, I'm with you, obviously. What you're arguing is God is weak, and without your interpretation of whatever voice you're hearing in your fucking head, the Lord's will not be carried out on the earth plane. And so you, in a totally nonpartisan way, have to guarantee that properly registered citizens have to re-register 3 or 4 times between now and the election.
Yeah, and I've seen so much of the work that you've done. I've read it right here in New York. You've had you've uncovered a lot, Morley.
Yes, you totally have. You uncovered a lot. I saw it. You saw it. We all saw it.
But now you are working on the national level through
Yeah.
United Sovereign Americans. So I want to talk a little bit about that. You've expanded your efforts beyond New York. Tell
Yes,
us
you
the
have.
most significant findings from your national
Please.
investigations, and how do they compare to what you've uncovered here in New York?
Let me guess. It's worse.
Sure. I mean, just to go back, the work that New York Citizens Audit did was monumental. And
Yeah, it does. You guys remember the big change in the New York vote that shifted everything so that remember when you guys remember when they had in New York, right? It was in New York, and the whole everything different. What the? Eric Trump lost the ability to have a charity in the state. The Trumps lost the ability to run a business there. No, it wasn't that. It was something else. It was huge. Never mind. It was huge. New York. And now she's going to take what she did in New York, which totally changed everything, and turn it loose on America. And the same thing will happen.
we identified inside of the state's official records about the 2022 and 2020 elections, millions and millions of examples of what appear to be felony misconduct according to the United
Yes, but enough about George Santos.
States Department of Justice's guidelines for prosecution of election offenses. When we worked to try to bring these to officials all over New York State, we were basically stonewalled and ended up in an ongoing apparent criminal investigation by Letitia James herself, alleging that we have violated we've intimidated voters across.
Also invasion of privacy, also, trying to scare people into voting Republican, I guess, the next time around or something along those lines.
New York State in some kind of equity with what the Ku Klux
Equity.
Klan was doing in 1871 in the United States and in the Deep South, just by trying to verify registration and voting issues. So
No, you can verify registrations in a home completely online. And issues would be, you mean going door to door and asking people who they actually voted for as non-officials for the government, as a sovereign citizen group going door to fucking door?
what we realized, myself and many of the people in New York Citizens Audit, and also our dear friend and counselor at that time, advisor Harry Howery, was that
Poor Harry. Oh, Harry. Whatever happened to him?
we were going to have to make this a national issue because we were not going to be able to win.
Sorry. So let me get this right before I leave you, because you're boring the fuck out of me. Let me get this straight. You are going to take your failure to accomplish anything in New York and go national with it. Well, hey, good luck. And I'm just going to tell you right now that you are wasting your time, her time, your money, her money, the supporters that send you money. You're wasting all of their money, and I'm for it. I just want you to know that every dime you spend legally fighting legitimate votes across the country, while a pain in the ass, is money that is not going to help get Republicans elected. And I want to thank you for that. And way to put your money where your ass is.